Hey, welcome to Journey Online. Thanks for watching with us today. Before we go any further, I want to let you know today is a really different day. Let me say this, it may be your first time to ever watch or be a part of Journey, and if that's you, thanks for being with us today. Things around Journey this weekend are a little bit different than our normal. What that means is we often have somebody standing up right now and presenting for a few minutes a message that we've got for our whole church. But this weekend we've got a special panel that we've invited to come and be a part of life here at Journey. We're going to be interviewing them, and for today we're not going to put this online for you. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, all of that will go online. It'll give us a chance to record that. We want you to be a part of it. So please come back to this same spot on our YouTube channel and watch our Journey panel discussion. What we're doing this week is we're inviting a group of people. We have been going through a process of coming up with 3 people that we want to interview, and they're people who would identify themselves as people who aren't Christians. Now, everybody's got their definition of that. That's how they would identify themselves. They're awesome people. They've got great stories. They've got great opinions. But for this day, they would say, I wouldn't label myself that way. And we're going to ask them questions and we're going to listen to them. It's going to benefit us. We've had a great time getting to know these people. And so it is a huge win for us to make some new friends, for us to learn. Hopefully it'll be a great benefit for you. For the last 18 months or so, part of my job around here has been to dig in. How do we take some next steps as a church to get better at being able to have greater influence with people who don't call themselves Christians? As a whole church, as hundreds of people, how do we take next steps with that? And I've been digging into it for a long time. I've been listening, I've been learning, I've been studying. We've traveled other places in the country, and we're so excited about being able to help out our church become better than we are now. And for me personally, it's been a huge growth opportunity to realize I've got some weaknesses and I've got some needs in my own life, and it's helping me grow in that. I hope it will for you too. And the way we're going to dig into that is we just thought we'd sit up here today and tell you a little bit about what's going to be going on, and then you can connect with it later on. Jeremy, I'll just throw this your way. You've been around in Journey World since the very beginning. I mean, before there was, you were. You're almost like, well, anyway. Would you take us backwards a little bit at where Journey started and help us understand how we've gotten to where we're landing today and why we're wanting to see some growth in this world for us?
Before I do that, I think we all really need to be grateful. This baby has been something that you've carried for those 18 months and really kind of nursed in growth, and it's a critical piece of our story as a church, as our family's kind of moving forward. 15 years ago, this fall, we started Journey. Really, just wanted to create a church for people who don't like to go to church. And when I say we've done some things really, really good, making a place where people who aren't church people feel comfortable is hard, and we have knocked it out of the park. And it hasn't been like a me or leadership or staff. I mean, it's our people. People make it easy for people to walk in the door. Every kind of people, and I love that about this place. We've killed that, not killed it, murdered, like killed it well, Larry. So, but in the end, along the way, there's been some things that we haven't done well, and usually that's not a we thing, that's a me thing. And the thing that I think, man, I look back and I go, I wish we would have done a lot different, is that when we first started, I told people, man, you bring your friends, it's all good, you bring them here, this is gonna be awesome. And we created a place that was cool for that, and people walked in, and we told them, here's the tool we have to reach lost people or people who are kind of figuring this faith thing out. We told people, invest in someone's life and then invite them to church. And that's a great tool. That's a great thing. You should, for sure, invest people. And man, this is a great a tool to use along the way. But the problem that I figured out now, looking back at that, is that I was trying to take a responsibility off of your shoulders that I didn't put there. reaching our friends with the good news of life-changing relationship with Jesus is a responsibility that Jesus put on the shoulders of every believer, and it's not mine to take off. Invest Invite is a good tool. It just can't be our only tool. We have to have lives of influence, and our lives of influence, that's really kind of, at least the way we've walked in this the last 18 months of this, that has been a ball that I dropped and that you picked up and are carrying it across the line for us. And that's a big deal to us. So like when we talk about that life of influence, to me, that's one of the biggest words we use in this. Talk a little bit about what life of greater influence could look like.
I think this is a weird one for me. I grew up going to church, and this has been a passion of mine since I was a kid. We would say, how do you share your faith, or how do you share what God has done in your life? How do you have influence in someone else's? And I kind of grew up in a world where that had to do with a script. It was like, you need to find people and you need to tell them these things. And I think all of that is good. And here's the crazy thing for me. I bought into that and did what I was told, and it has helped people, and it helped me. What I didn't do is understand there's more to the equation than just that. It's not just my ability to say my scripted line. It's not my ability to find somebody who will listen long enough. One of the things we've been doing to prepare for this panel is we placed an ad for people who would identify themselves as people who weren't Christians. And then several of them, as we kind of whittled it down to a manageable group, we sent them surveys that asked their thoughts on God or on Jesus or what they believed about the Bible, or lots of questions about just how they see life. And then on the bottom half of that, we asked them, what has been your interaction with other people of faith? About what have been your conversations about faith with those who call themselves Christians? We've gotten some really beautiful stories from that. We've gotten some really painful stories in that, and everywhere in between. But the one thing that we've gotten consistently, and I tell you, I'll say this, and it's a little shot across the bow, but I have a feeling for me, the sad part is it's been really accurate. A number of people have looked at me and said, Chris, here's the issue. I feel like Christians ask me a question, and they do it so I will say something, and then really they don't care what I say because they've got something to say to me. And they ask me a question because they've got something to say. And that doesn't feel like they care about me. It feels like I'm their project. It feels like I'm their target. It doesn't feel like I matter. It doesn't feel like my opinions matter. It doesn't feel like what I think matters. And boy, that has been one. People say that to me, and I go, yeah, that's horrible that other people have done that. But the truth is, that is me. And I'll be honest, it's still me at times. I still fight that. I've got something I feel like it's so important. My motives are great, that I want to make a difference, but sometimes my methods are missing some elements. And one of the things we're learning from doing this panel, and it's why we hope you will join in, is as you listen to that panel, that instead of listening and judging all the statements that are going to be made, instead of listening and saying, well, why would they think that, and that's ridiculous, or I think this and they think that, to just listen to the people and care about the people and learn that just because they don't see life exactly like you see it doesn't lessen their importance or the importance of what they think. I don't have to agree with it, nor do they have to agree with me. But the beauty in first seek to understand and then seek to be understood is a great way to do life. We all have room to grow in that. As a church, if we're going to be effective in bringing light into really dark places, in being able to be a more healthy part of our environment and our communities, we have to learn this better. And I'll be honest with you, just between me and you, because we're the only ones watching this, right? Just between me and you, I don't think Christians have done well with this one. And as a person who leads Christians, I have not led that well. And so I'm learning. I'm going to grow in that. I'm going to get better at it. But hey, listen, here's what we're imagining. The things we're learning and we're putting into practice in the coming months and years, we're going to hear story after story after story of changed lives. And it won't be because we were so smart. It's because we're doing exactly what Jesus did when he called people. He called them around him. He listened and he understood them. They felt cared for. And then he shared the hope of the good news. And as a result, it changed their lives and it's changed ours. That's what we're shooting for. We couldn't be more excited about that. And so this week, we're going to have this panel. Watch that, learn from that, lean into that, be humble enough to accept and learn. And then beyond that, over the next 2 weeks, we've got some great plans. Jeremy, maybe you could set us up. Where do we go after the panel for week 3 of our Everyone Matters?
Before we get there, this is going to be either every time I just listen to you talk about it, and I'm going, we're going to, I just keep going back to like, this is for real. We're going to put 3 people we don't agree with on the same stage and then talk to them. And like you said it so well last week, but like Chris said last week that this will either be the greatest idea the church has ever had or it'll be the most tragic failure ever.
If it works well, in the end, everybody can say, Chris was so smart with that. And if it goes badly, my statement is going to be, this is Jeremy's deal. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
so
and I get to be the guy up here with it. So,
that's the plan.
You know, I think it's going to be amazing. And it really all comes down to what you said, listening and learning and engaging and light and darkness and like all those things. That's at the heart of what we do. It's the heart of who we are as a church. The like where are we going from here piece is that next weekend we're going to start unpacking what our influence really could look like. I don't know if you guys recognize this as pretty obvious when you think about it for a second, but everything in our world swings like a pendulum. Like we go to one extreme to the other extreme and back to one, and we pass the right way to approach things probably somewhere in the swinging. And I think that's happened with kind of the idea of sharing faith. Sometimes we went from conflict evangelism, like knock on a door, and I kind of push back and pendulum swing myself. And so sometimes I abandon things that have been effective and useful, and it mattered to me. People face up with me, not relationship, and that's how I accepted Christ. But you know, like the other swing on that has been like, oh, I don't know, just live your life and people will see the difference and maybe they'll ask you a question. And my whole life, no one's ever asked me, why are you such a great person? Like,
maybe tomorrow.
Maybe because I'm not a great person, but
that could be it.
But so we're going to start talking about how does a life of influence not run to extremes, but live out faith, engage in relationships, and then help people move forward, identify and engage next steps in their life so that it's not just live my life and hope, it's live my life and care about people and engage movement forward. So we're going to unpack some of that next week, what that really looks like and why this is different than every one of them. And we're going to talk a little bit about how God has given each one of us different personalities and different ways of approaching life. One of the reasons I like working with you is we don't think the same. Like we think differently, we work differently, we understand people differently, we see life differently. And it stands to reason that we would share our faith differently, but it's the same faith, different personalities. And so I feel like us walking through that, and again, I'm going to walk us through it, but really it's been Chris's baby for the last year and a half, and really your whole life, to be honest. But like just picking that up together and talking about how we can share our faith, have a life of influence. That really is the key word. And so we'll do that next week, and then 2 weeks from this weekend, we're asking every single person at Journey to identify their one. So that's you, me, our families. We're asking every single one of us to identify our one, that one person that you feel like God has placed you in their life, that you're going, man, how can I have an influence in their life? And we're going to write their names on a stone. That's going to be a significant part of our future. So 2 weeks from today. And if you're joining us online all the time, maybe from another part of the country or at another time frame and we would love for you to communicate that with us. There'll be instructions on that coming up on 2 weeks from today. So just begin, again, praying for who is the person in your life that God's called you to have an influence. And Man, we hope to see you back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock. You'll have a video that you can watch and rewatch, because I am absolutely certain this is going to be one of the best ideas the church has ever seen. So be back here at 1 o'clock.
Thanks.
See ya.